Hello, I'm going to give a lesson on the bow frame. I just wanted to give this lesson because, well, I actually happen to have a bow frame. So this is what the bow frame looks like in the Montessori classroom, in the primary classroom. So we've got, this is my bow frame. I actually got this one to help my kids learn how to tie their shoes. So, yes, the reason why I wanted to give this lesson is because this, I think, is one of the perfect lessons to show an example of taking a lesson that you want to give a child and analyzing and breaking down the steps. Making it so that it is easier for the child to process and slowing down your movements, focusing on any points of interest, things that areas that the child may struggle with. Yes, so yeah, this is a good example of showing how to slow down, analyze, and break down steps. A lot of times with children, we tend to give lessons or teach our children things like using a zipper is a good example of something that seems very simple to us, and we're just, you tend to just get the zipper foot and you put it on, you stick it in there, and then you're like, okay, zip up, that's easy. But a lot of times we forget that there's also little tiny steps within these activities maybe that we tend to take for granted because it just comes naturally to us. Like tying the bow, for instance, when you make your bunny ear, we tend to loop it really quickly and then pinch it and wrap it around because we just know it just comes instinctively from the many years of practice on what we do to accomplish the things we need. So I'm going to give you a lesson the way we show in the classroom. I'm going to do my best. It's hard when you're doing it on video because the way you position yourself is important and plays a big role in a lot of the lessons we give. And we make it so that the children have the ability to be able to lean over and look and kind of move around and see, and we do it slowly so that they can take time to fully process and think about what it is that they're seeing and observing. So I will start with the first. So now the bow frame is done in two parts. The first part, you start with the first knot. And then from there, if the child gets the first knot right off the bat and has no issues, then you can continue on with the lesson without taking any sort of time to practice that first knot. Most likely the child will have, this will be their first attempt at it, so they will have the first knot, and then we will stop at the first knot and allow them to practice and become comfortable. And then we move on to the second part of the lesson. So I am going to take this to a table and we will set it down, and I am going to hopefully be able to show you guys how this looks from the child's perspective. Hopefully, we'll see how this works. Okay. So we have our bow frame at the table, and I am going to get started. Okay. I have opened the dressing frame. Now I'm going to close it. Watch. I just did the first knot. This is called the first knot. Okay, so that was the first knot. That's the first part of this lesson. This is where you would stop and you would allow the child to practice that first knot for days, weeks, however long it takes them to become really confident in that first knot. And then that's when you can take them and do the rest of the lesson. So I did want to note that I know the lighting is not the best in here, so I apologize if there are some parts that you can't see, but I hope that at least you were able to get the idea, and then hopefully maybe you guys can transfer that in your own way and however you guys plan to do it. And also, when we do this in the classroom, we actually do it a little bit slower. I'm trying not to go too fast, but I'm also trying to keep these videos producible. So we will stop there, and then I will post the second half of this lesson separately.